Yeah, this is episode 9.
9?
Yeah. Yeah.
We're kicking dick.
Ooh, welcome back to Insightful Hypocrites, episode 9. My name's Danton. This is Tulsa.
Wait, I wanted to talk about some
that's
stuff
backwards.
with you first. Yeah, I'm Danton. Welcome back, guys. Thanks for listening. This is episode 9. We got our first guest coming next week. It's gonna be a little surprise for you because we haven't
Hopefully, if we plan shit properly.
quite nailed it down yet. But we think we know who we're gonna have. We're just waiting on a response. But first guest will be next week. So thanks for listening to just me and Tulsa this far.
Yeah.
It's been great. Spotify still a little messed up. Just wanted to add that in there in case anyone didn't know yet. But we got some cool things to talk to you. Going to touch on some things that happened this week, and then a couple things that happened to us. I'm going to start with the challenge from last week, I guess. Tulsa, you want to talk about what you did?
Yeah, the challenge to just it was to start a random conversation with someone, right? That was the extent of it. Well, I was in Chicago Saturday. Had a few hours to kill before my buddy Will's show. Will is chilling. Check him out. So I was just walking around town. Hit a Starbucks. Was in there and just talked to the barista for like 5-10 minutes about business. Invited him out to the show. So that was my random conversation with a random stranger, which for me is somewhat hard to do. But when it comes to business, it was all right.
Yeah,
Once we started talking business, I was all in.
You lead with that business. That's what you're comfortable. It's right in your wheelhouse, man.
I started I know we touched on the anxiety thing the first few episodes, but I feel like I'm starting to fucking figure it out on how to keep it under control.
Well, I think it's with anything, whether it's anxiety, like we talked about. I don't really feel the anxiety as much, but with whatever it is, depression or whatever else anyone feels, it's like you got to learn when you're doing good with it, like what helped you get out of it, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And understanding what you have to think about to change your mindset there actively, like not just let your thoughts run like, oh, this is too much, you know what I mean? Or whatever. You gotta be conscious about how your own body works and what helps you bounce out of that. And, like you said, if you are talking about the business, it's comfortable. So it's, if you lead with that at least a little bit, then you start comfortable and it's easier to go from there.
The podcast where we talked about it kind of helped because thought about it after that. Man, if I just turn everything into a business talk.
You can't turn everything into business talk, but yeah. I know
for the most part, I don't leave my house often. So when I do leave my house, it's for business.
But I'm picturing you on a first date, like, hey, let's talk business. I came to have dinner.
It's interesting.
It is interesting. Interesting.
You see it more and more now, though. Everybody's wanting to run their own business now, even though just FYI, anyone trying to start, it fucking sucks. It's hard to do.
Well, they say
but it's still fun if you're doing what you. Of course, if you're doing what you love, it's fun. But don't get it twisted. You got to work fucking hard.
What is it? That stat? It's like 50% of businesses fail in the first 5 years.
5 years, yeah.
So you already made it past that.
Yeah, this is the 5th year. Hey.
Yeah, which is awesome. So my challenge, though, I guess this week, I was talking to a guy I was picking up some seed actually for the farm I work at. One of my 2 jobs, and I was talking to the guy who sells the seed, and the conversation was great. We just talked about, started with normal farm stuff, the weather and whatever, but then it went to him talking about he had stepped on a nail through a board 2 weeks before,
man.
and he doesn't have any feeling in the bottom of his feet. So he didn't know the nail was in his foot, and he walked around on it for 2.5 hours.
Oh my god.
And so when he got home and realized that there was a nail through the bottom of his boot, he took it out. He said it was 3/4 of an inch to an inch into the bottom of his heel.
Oh.
And so it was way up in there. They had to go to the emergency room and they yanked it out, but it had been in there so long that it caused some stuff. They tried to seal it up, but then it got not quite it was infection kind of, but it filled with pus and fluid from trying to heal, and then they had to go in with a scalpel and cut it out and stick this funnel thing in there to drain it. He was telling me it was gross. But yeah, so that was my random conversation with a stranger.
That's easy for you. You talk to every stranger. You're always talking to random people.
I love talking to people. You can learn so much from the randomest people.
Yeah.
And I think I don't know.
It depends on how I'm feeling. Sometimes I'm just in these weird awkward modes where I just fucking tunnel vision. I'm gonna go get my stuff done and not talk to anybody and move on. And then I was gonna talk about this. I know you probably don't have this problem because you don't have the anxiety thing, but every time my phone rings, my heart drops.
Really?
And there's no reason why. Like, there's not like there's
like what's going wrong? Like, oh,
there's
God.
not like there's anybody that's gonna call me where it's gonna be bad for me unless it was like a family emergency or something. Every time my phone rings, my heart drops, and then I see who it is, and I'm like, all right, you know.
We have totally different reaction. I just get annoyed. Like, why is anyone calling me right now?
It's mixed with that too, depending on who it is.
Mm-hmm.
But like for the most part, like, I mean, the only people that call me is like you, Sean, my mom, my grandma, you know, family members.
Mm-hmm.
But like,
well, I got a funny one. This actually is perfectly related. So, what was it?
oh, the
Thursday night.
The foot thing. I was gonna go into that. I had a neighbor when I was like 10. We were outside playing, and she stepped on a nail. They went right through her foot on a picnic table. She was walking around barefoot. It went right through her foot. Seen that shit, and I was like, I'm out. I'm going home.
I'm done tapping. No, but Thursday. That's funny. Perfectly relating to the phone thing, though. Thursday night, I was working at the bar after I got off on the farm, and my grandpa calls me. And my grandpa, I love my grandma and grandpa, but it's like, what else about it? It's like, you know, you're the least favorite grandkid when you have to add your grandma on Facebook. You know what I mean? Like I don't gotta tell her to quit commenting or posting on my page. You know, it's like I had to actively seek her out.
Yeah, some people are like blocking their grandmas because their comments are embarrassing or something.
She had no interest in seeing what was going on in my life. Like,
did she decline it?
No, it took her a couple weeks to accept it, though. You could tell she was debating it. She was mulling it over in her head, like, do I really want him to see my page?
Does Facebook still have pokes?
Yeah.
You should poke her.
Poke her. That's funny. No, but anyway, so my grandpa calls me, and it pops up on my phone, Grandpa Danny and Grandma Marge. And I was like, oh, crap. Like, what happened? Like, that was my thought. Like, because they never call me. You know, I was like, well, something's going wrong.
They hate me. They never call me.
They don't hate me. I'm just definitely their least favorite. So it's like it's not hate, but it's the least love.
I'm my grandma's only grandchild, so she fucking loves me.
This chair squeaks too much. That's the only problem. Or I just gotta not move. But
Be a
here,
statue.
let me do this. The reason my grandpa was calling is because my cousin was coming into town from Michigan, and ironically he wanted help cutting out a tree. But no, I think that's not the reason anyone called me. I don't think it's like, hey, we need help with a tree. But it's just funny that I never hear from them, and then they call me. But we can leave that last part out. But you know, made my heart drop too. I was like, oh shit, like there's definitely a family.
Who's dead?
Who's dead? What happened? And it made it worse because he picked up the phone. I'm like, hey Grandpa, how you doing? And he goes, oh, not good. But we're not going to get into that. And I was like, what do you mean?
Fuck.
What do you mean not good? But we're not going to get into that. So he never did. He never got into it.
This was the type of person my grandpa was. He passed away like 2014, I think. But he called me one time. I lived in Kirkwood at the time. He lives in Gurlaw. So, I mean, people aren't familiar with that. Especially our people in Sweden listening. Shout out them.
Really, anyone anywhere that's not from here doesn't know where that is.
No. But it's like, what, like 30, 40 minutes?
Kirkwood to Gurlaw, probably less than that, like 25, 30.
Okay, yeah. But he calls me one morning, probably 7 a.m., and it was when I was younger, so I was partying all the time, so I probably just went to bed at 6 a.m. drunk. He calls me at 7 a.m., and he goes, I need biscuits and gravy from Cottage Corner. See you soon, and hangs up.
That's a strange phone call. What's the...
Grandpa pretty much gave me no choice.
The scenario, what do you need the biscuits and gravy for?
I was looking at the phone like, well shit, I gotta go get my grandpa biscuits and gravy now. He didn't really leave an option. So then I go and do that, and I get it, and then of course I get myself breakfast, and then I take it all the way out to him. Like a $20 fucking meal, and he gives me $5. This should cover it.
Don't spend it all in one place there, Sonny.
So that's the type of guy he was.
He sounds delightful. He sounds delightful.
Hilarious. So funny.
That's funny.
But like, he'll jip you any chance he gets. Even his like at the time 17-year-old grandson, or 16, however old it was.
Funny. I bet he never tipped.
There were so many times where he'd be like, "I'll give you money for helping out," and it's like, okay, you do that thing where you're like, "Oh, you don't need to," but it's your grandparents and they give you money for doing stuff.
Yeah.
$5 was his like bid. Yeah, like, can you mow my yard? And it's a fucking
it's gonna
huge
take 4
yard
hours.
in Gurlaw.
It's gonna take 4 hours.
With a rider, it'll take at least 2. And here's a 5 skin for your troubles.
Here's a 5 skin. Back in my day, we used to walk uphill both ways to school through knee-high snow.
He was one of those guys. He was definitely
funny.
one of those guys.
It kind of makes up for it, though, because my other grandma and grandpa, so my mom's parents, they're divorced, so I have, like, her mom is married to another guy, so my step-grandpa, and then her dad actually passed away, but I was his favorite grandson, bar none, and then I'm my grandma's favorite grandson, so it's like, on one side, I'm the bottom of the totem pole, but on the other side, I'm flying high like an eagle at the top, you know what I mean?
That's kind of how it is, like, my grandma loves me. Well, she's really rude. Because she's got no filter. She was born in the 30s.
Yeah.
So she really don't give a fuck
Old
about
people
feelings.
say exactly what they think.
All the time.
I love it.
Even when it's like...
Sometimes it's like, Grandpa.
It's bad. And she's like hard of hearing, so she yells everything she has to say. So when you're in a store... Like, oh my god, we were at Shopko one time. And there's this kid. It's a dude. You can clearly tell it's a dude. He's just got long hair. And he's like working on this like canopy, setting it up for like a planogram thing or whatever. Yeah. And my grandma across the aisle goes, "Look at that girl over there." And he could definitely hear her. So I just turn and walk away. I couldn't deal with it. But like...
old people.
Yeah. Gotta love them.
It's like, at that point, though, they get to the point, they're like...
Divorced, though.
You get to the point when you're old, I think, you're like... My time's running out. Why would I give a fuck? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I've heard a lot of people say once you hit like your 40s, you definitely don't give a fuck.
It's not even old. I don't give that much of a fuck now. So when I get to 40 or 50 and 60 and don't give a fuck, I'm going to be a whole new level of non-fuckery.
I care a lot now. It's just about certain things.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's selectively applied.
That's one of my personality things. I care about a lot that I don't want to care about is like personal image. Like, I don't know why I care so much about it. But I feel like everybody does, yeah.
It's natural. It's like, no matter how much you say you don't care what people think about how you look or dress or whatever, it's like at some level you do. It's like I say the same thing because I dress pretty casual and I wear what I want, but it's like, do I look in the mirror before I go out? Yeah. Do I then care what other people see? Yeah. It's like you want to look good for yourself, and people say that, but it's like you really are dressing for the other people around you. Most of the time.
I kind of dress ridiculous for the style purpose of it and because I want it to look... Like, I feel like I look pretty cool. Fucking some boots, some joggers.
Well, I'm glad you think so.
Yeah, right? I'm smart, I'm handsome.
I'm smart and handsome, and I'm really good at everything.
Smart, I'm handsome, no one can touch me. I'm on one today.
I'm on one.
Coffee, Xanax.
Coffee. God, the old combination. I'm a tea drinker myself, man. Been talking to people about this lately.
Mm-hmm. I actually, because we drank so much tea at your house, I did end up buying some tea bags. There were some stress relief ones.
I'll give you a tea bag.
They suck though. That was my point.
What do you mean they suck? What kind of tea did you get?
It's some stress relief crap.
Oh, no, it's good shit,
no,
man.
it tastes like ass.
Is it, what brand is it, do you know?
I don't remember.
I don't know brands.
I'll show you.
I asked that question when you said it, the name of a tea brand. I'd be like, oh, yeah, good tea. They're from... No, I know nothing.
Big tea connoisseur.
My mom buys me tea.
It's from the vineyards of Italy, even though that's where they make wine.
I love hot tea, though, because if you like, it's so good all the time. And there's something just about like drinking something warm, I think, is like half the effect of the morning coffee or tea. Is that it gets your body going from the inside. It's like warming your engine up with
something.
It just makes you feel good. But even at night, like you get the non-caffeinated tea before bed, it's good. It's just good stuff.
Yeah.
Man. And I get all the fruity kind.
All the tea we had at your place was really good. That's why I bought some of these. But I got bad judgment, evidently, because it fucking blows.
How long did you leave it in?
The tea bag?
That's the thing, too. If you leave the tea bag in too long, it get really bitter.
I left it in the whole time I was drinking it.
Well, you can do that with some tea, but a lot of tea you're supposed to take out, or it gets bitter, and it'll change the flavor. They have, like, on them, like, each tea bag will tell you, like, 2 to 4 minutes or whatever for strength. Yeah, but some of them legit do not taste good if you leave it in the whole time. They'll start getting really bitter, and it has this weird mouth feel where it makes your tongue feel, I don't know, like almost dry like wine, but different. It's odd. But tea's great. Coffee, though, my problem with coffee is a lot of times it makes me too acidic. You know what I mean? So it's like
I get that with orange. I can't drink orange juice.
I start getting like acid reflux and like burping up some stomach.
Yeah, if I drink orange juice, I'll feel like I'm gonna throw up. Mm-hmm. Yeah, which sucks because it's delicious.
Yeah, orange juice is yummy.
Yeah.
All juice is yummy, but it's like
juicy juice.
You can drink tea. I remember when I was in high school at one point, or maybe, yeah, I think it was high school. And I went through this like big binge where I was like it was before I really understood being healthy eating. You know, it's like I understand it better now. Not that I follow it, but I understand it. But when I was younger, I was like, I remember I went through this thing. I was like, I'm gonna get super healthy. I'm not drinking any more pop or anything. I'm just gonna drink juice. Completely not even acknowledging the fact that like most juice has just as much sugar as pop. And so I was drinking all this juice all the time, and I started gaining weight. And I was pissed. And I told my mom, she's like, "You're drinking like a gallon of juice a day. Like, what do you expect? You know how much sugar you're drinking?" I'm like, "Oh,
I tried to get healthy.
Shit.
Gave myself diabetes.
Right.
Diabetes. Last week I struck my wife. Then I realized my wife's been dead for 3 years. Who the hell did I hit?" You seen that?
No.
Family Guy.
Oh, that's funny.
The diabetes guy.
The diabetes guy. My friend came to visit me this week, which was nice. It's been a crazy busy week for me. We're planting on the farm, so the hours been kind of crazy.
Not planting
there.
on the farm, but it's been busy.
But then my friend from Tennessee, so I told you my college story a little bit, I think, on here. We might have talked about it. I went to Mizzou first, and I only made it a little bit before I came back to the JUCO my mom worked at to finish. But one of my best friends in the world, his name's Brendan. He's a kid I met at Mizzou. Just an awesome guy. I was going to try to have him on the podcast if we filmed it Wednesday, but I ended up having to work, and he ended up leaving. It's kind of funny. We had talked about it, like him coming to visit 2-3 weeks before this, and he had asked me, he messaged me, he's like, "What are you doing the week after Easter?" And I'm not great at making plans. I'm more of a Captain Hindsight than Foresight.
Me too.
And so
it makes this podcast really difficult when we're both awful at planning.
So I told him, I was like, I don't know. I know I have to work. It's going to be planning time, so we'll probably be busy, but I'm sure I can get something figured out, maybe get a day off or something. Like, I'll figure it out. We'll talk when it gets closer. And I don't remember really talking about it at all after that. And
sounds about right.
I kind of forgot about it, honestly. It's like it was in the back of my mind that he was coming, but it got pushed back because I was so busy. And Monday afternoon, I was working crazy, and then I didn't check my phone till like 6:30 at work. I'd been there all day. And I had 2 messages from him. And the first one was like 11. And it's like, "Hey, man, I'm going to get an oil change and get my tires rotated before I come." And then like 1 o'clock, I get one from him that says, "I'm on my way." He lives south of Nashville, so it's like an 8-hour drive. I didn't check it till like 6, so he's like halfway there at that point. And it's like, man, like I'm supposed to work 12 hours tomorrow. Like, it's like I had to figure that shit out. It ended up working out perfectly. He came. We had some of the best conversations I've had in forever. I ended up getting Tuesday off. I only worked for a couple hours in the morning. We went golfing. Then we went over to our buddy Nate's, and I taught him to shoot guns. We rode some 4-wheelers and ATVs, took him around through the woods and the creeks, and he kept saying how fascinated he was by it out here, like how different people were and how different lifestyle was, and it's slow, and talking about the positives and negatives to wherever you live.
Traveling is so fun.
It just opens your eyes to so much stuff. I think it's interesting too, because so many people have this idea in their head of like what Midwestern life is like. It's like this cutout of like a hick, you know what I mean? Like it's like we all wear only plaid, and we tuck our shirts in, and we have our Wranglers up to our belly buttons, and we talk about nothing but hay and chores, and
wear cowboy boots.
And it's like there is that person, but like that guy's generally a nice guy, but there's so much stuff that goes on here, and it's just like there's positives and negatives. The people here in the Midwest in general, in smaller areas, there's life's slower, but I think they just have a greater appreciation for people. People are friendlier and kinder and more open, and I think that's the big positive here. Also, the negative is opportunity. It's like there's only so much you can do in an area where, there's most of your jobs around here are either physical labor or service jobs, and that's about what you have. If you want to do something bigger, you have to kind of go.
When I first started my business, I was like, "There's no fucking way I'm gonna get this thing to take off in Galesburg." When I was living in Galesburg at the time, in Galesburg, Illinois, but I made it work. But like, I was like, "Man, I'm gonna have to move to California or Chicago." So, I mean, that definitely would have.
It's nice that with internet that you can.
I mean, just with networking,
anywhere,
though.
Yeah.
You imagine the moves I could have made.
That's the problem. That's why you have to go to Chicago, though. Still,
I'd still go there a lot, but yeah.
If you lived there, how many more moves you could already make?
Yeah, exactly. But then when it comes to that, it's like the cost of living is up too, so it'd pretty much probably even out. All the more sales and opportunity I'd get would fucking even out with the cost of stuff I was paying.
It's
probably
the short term, but it's just interesting. He talked about, he's like, it opened his eyes to, he had this one picture of what bumfuckery was, out here in bumfuck, we just chore and have sex with our cousins. You know what I mean? Like, that's what he thought. But No, it's totally different, and I don't know. It's just interesting. You travel, you go to the big city. There's huge positives there, opportunity, meeting people, like you said, networking. But the cost of living is different, and people are just. I feel like when you go to the city. I mean, I've lived in cities too. I've lived in Costa Rica. I've lived in a variety of places. But it opens your eyes. People are. I think life's obviously so much quicker, and there's so much more stuff going on. You got to hurry to get to there, because you're always trying to race other people. You know what I mean? That
life is so fast.
You tend to get more wrapped up in your own space and mindset and headspace when you're going about. It's like you'll open the door for someone in a city sometimes, like they don't even notice that the door was being held open for them. They're so in the zone and moving there. It's there's here you wave to people in your car you don't even know. Just like, hey, how you doing? You're driving too? Hey, what's up?
It's like a courtesy thing in our neighborhood because it's so small. It's like you wave at everybody.
You do the two fingers up on the steering wheel to everybody.
Hey.
It's interesting, but we had a great time, and we talked about something that was really interesting. Kind of, we were talking about different paths and kind of got into physics and different dimensions and alternate realities and different pathways and stuff too. But we were talking about the idea that people come into your life when you need them to, and for, you know what I mean. So it's like Brendan and we were talking about. We've been trying to get together for years. I've only seen him once in the last 5 years since I graduated or left Mizzou. You know what I mean? And
it's wild
up until this,
you meet people like that.
And it just happened to work out that he came, and it was the conversations we had. He said at the same time, it's like the stuff he was saying to me was stuff that I needed to hear. You know what I mean? It was like it came at the exact right moment. And he said the same stuff about the stuff that I said. It was like it felt like we were both intersecting at a time when we needed to intersect. You know what I mean? And I feel like in life in general, whether it's positive, so that experience was very positive, but there's people who come into your life and they give you experiences that are negative, and that might be exactly the experience you needed at that time to teach you the lesson you needed. But you can only learn those lessons and see why you needed that and what you can learn from it if your eyes are open to the fact that you can learn from every situation, that everything can be an opportunity for growth and improvement. Because when you shut your mind off to that and you just accept, or you just coast, kind of zombie through it, as like, oh, this sucks, my life sucks right now, or oh, this is going good, you know what I mean, rather than understanding the bigger picture and what you can learn from it. You have to be open to those things and allow your mind to see them. It's really interesting, because he was saying too, it's like, what if he's big, and I'm also big on or at least thinking about the alternate realities and different, you know what I mean, kind of, it's almost like, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not that it's fractals of each other, but it's like, so like he was saying, like, what if you in one timeline just kind of continued on, like when you hit a bug on a windshield, like in one timeline that bug never hit your car, it just stays flying the path it was, but that's when the two realities split, and in one reality that bug died, in the other reality it continued on like your car was never there. And he's like, if what in one reality you kept going and you're already in California doing your acting thing, and then this is the reality where I needed you, so I intersected with you, and it just creates other realities. Like I don't know, when you get into alternate realities,
parallel
like
universes
you can
and shit.
I don't know if any of that even made sense, because it's so, we didn't start from the beginning of parallel universes, but I like to think about that the people in your life are there because you need them. But I don't know, it's at the same time that kind of gets into like fate and destiny.
Falls into the everything happens for a reason.
And yeah,
kinda.
I don't know if I'm big on that. I feel like
See,
I feel like we have free will,
but
the free will argument, the non-free will argument, is super interesting. The idea that you don't really have any free will, that even if you believe you're making a decision based on explain. So, all right. So the idea of free will versus non-free will, you obviously know what free will is. That every decision you make is a conscious choice of your own. That you can make that choice however you want to.
Alter your own future with your own actions.
And you have the ability to choose your own path. The non-free will argument comes back kind of the nature versus nurture argument thing too. That you're biologically and chemically set up to respond to stimuli, and that you, based on your genetics and the experiences you've had, are going to respond to stimuli in a certain way. All right, so say, for instance, you have a terrifying fear of something. You know what I mean?
I used to be scared of heights.
Say you were with a group of friends and they wanted to go rock climbing, and you chose not to go rock climbing. And you think that that's a conscious free will decision, right? Like, I chose not to go rock climbing. But really, it was a subconscious, determined decision, because you already had this biological response set up, and through your experiences that you're afraid of heights. So you were going to say no to that rock climbing decision no matter what, because you're programmed to say no to it. So it gets a lot more detailed than that. It's like even little things, like how you respond in conversation, or what you think. Like,
for me, like going places, even like going out.
Even your thought process.
You asked me to go out almost every weekend, and my immediate response is no. It's just like my like programmed response because it just ain't gonna
And
happen
so that's
usually.
when you're aware of. But then there's other things that are even smaller. So they say like, okay, well, people will kind of argue, no, I thought about what if I did this or what if I do that or then I do this and then I made the decision to do that, even if I knew it would be bad for me or it would hurt me. You know what I mean? It would cost me more money. You know what I mean? Like I made the conscious decision to buy a car I couldn't afford, even though you know what I mean, or whatever. It's like, well, maybe your thought processes were set up that based on the stimuli that were presented to you, you may think that you're thinking and you're consciously deciding to make that decision, but maybe it's how your body's just programmed to do it. So those thoughts aren't really thoughts that you're creating. They're just what's automatically coming up based on a series of stimuli.
It's crazy to think
and there's
about.
no real way to understand if that's the truth or if they're your conscious thoughts. Is it a stimuli reaction? You know what I mean? Is that all it is? It's I see a stimuli, I react to the stimuli, my body creates the thoughts based on that stimuli, and then no matter what, even if I think I'm consciously making those thoughts, I'm going to react in a certain way no matter what. That's the no free will argument. So basically, no matter what you think you're doing in life, it's based on the chemical reactions that you're going to have, and how you're going to act is pretty much determined based on who you are already.
Is that a thing where it's like determined, like you have like one or the other, where you think in that certain way, or is it a mix of like all of those things that you think? You know what I mean? Like,
so
do you think with free will and like stimuli, judgment, and whatever else, or is it like do people just think in one way? Like, I don't know. I guess that's hard to explain.
Well, so you're saying is it
like is one person, they only think free will is the way that decisions are made? I don't know where I'm going with
so
this.
are you saying that like are you saying is it like one person, or is like it's either free will or it's totally not free will? It's like one or the other.
It's exactly.
So it's like we either have free will,
or is
or
it like
we
a
are all
combination
programmed.
of all of them mixed together that makes all of our decisions?
Well, see, I don't have any idea, but I think it's a combination for sure, because there's some things that are definitely just reactionary, like, you know what I mean? Like it's not free will that when you're underwater you feel like you need to get air. You know what I mean? Like that's programmed in you. Like there's some those are easy ones, but then there's things like is my preference of blue, is the fact that blue is my favorite color, or I like certain foods, is that based on just that was going to be no matter what, or is it based on things that I chose? Is it my choice in music based on that I don't know. I think it's a mixture of both. Like you're predisposed.
Stuff like that. I feel like
you're predisposed to some stuff.
Yeah.
Some
like
of your stuff.
Music and stuff like that is, I don't know. I guess that's just stuff you find along the way as you grow.
It's hard because both of them. And one of the things that they talk about, there's this interesting movie I think we touched on it last week, called Three Identical Strangers.
Did we talk about? I don't remember ever hearing that.
Well, if we didn't talk about it, I'll tell you. It's a movie. It's a documentary made last year. It's about these three identical strangers. They're basically a set of triplets, and they're these Jewish triplets, and they were born in New York, and then they were put up for adoption. They didn't know they were triplets, so it's real rough cut of the story. I think it happened in the 80s, but this kid goes to college. He gets there his first day of college, and people start calling him by the wrong name. Blah 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 blah. You know, and he's like, I don't know any of you. And so this guy comes up to him and he's like, yo, he realizes you're not him. You know what I mean? He's like, you have a twin. So they meet up, find the other twin. It becomes a national news story. Put it on the news. They're starting to interview people.
Story?
True story. Ends up being a third triplet. Basically, what ended up happening is this adoption agency in New York was doing this. They were doing this study based through some funding, underground stuff, that they would split up twins and triplets and then put them in different environments to see if people were nurture and nature. You know what I mean? So is how we turn out basically just determined by our genes, or is it a lot to do with our environment? All right, and so twins are basically the ideal, perfect test subject for a test, and that's looking into that because they have identical genes. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? If you're identical twins, you're a copy of the same person genetically.
Yeah.
And so what they did, it was even deeper than just splitting them up. They studied families. So every family that they were put into had already adopted a kid before. So they knew not only the family's income levels, their education backgrounds, they knew the people's parenting styles. So they split up.
Did the parents know that there was a study being conducted?
Idea. They didn't even know they were triplets. They hid that from them.
That's
super
crazy.
Interesting. It's fucked up. But so they took them and they put them in 3 different social classes. One of the families was pretty poor and blue collar, you know what I mean? One of them was middle class, one of them was rich, different education levels, and then all 3 had different parenting styles. Some were strict, some were laissez-faire, you know what I mean? Some were whatever. And so then they studied them over years. Well, once the kids found out and then they kind of pieced it together, what ended up, they didn't really touch on the research is locked in a Yale University library until like 2090 or something like that. They won't even release the research because it's fucked up.
Oh my god.
But what they basically the documentary kind of concluded is it's a mixture between both, because although the three had similarities in a lot of things, some interest, how they acted, you know what I mean, their outward emotions and their outward the nuances of things though were different, you know what I mean. So like they all were wrestlers at one point, and they all smoked the same kind of cigarettes, but it's their, you know what I mean. So it's like if you search for things that are similar, you'll find them. And there was lots of similarities, their mannerisms, how they spoke, the kind of jokes they made, things like that. But then when you got deeper, they were very different people based on their environment, their upbringing,
Yeah.
how they were taught. You know what I mean? They were very different people emotionally and mentally, the way they, you know, looked at life overall, outlook-wise. They were very different. And so that, it comes 50-50, and it goes back to free will. I think some of it, a lot of our choices are our choices. We make bad choices all the time.
Mm-hmm.
We react in ways that we should have
I feel
reacted
like
the
you
opposite.
got to. You learn from bad choices.
But I think at least some portion of it is definitely a chemical reaction. You know, you're predisposed and you're programmed beforehand to have certain interests, to be pushed a certain direction. You know what I mean? It's like Nate said that one time. It's like you get a coloring book and there's the outline of a picture there. So like that picture is never going to change, but you can add as much detail and color it and make it as different as you want. And that's all the stuff that you're introduced to. And that's free will. But I think that some of it is that outlined picture. You're going to, I mean, you're never going to, some people are born interested in some things. Some people are born interested in others. You have different skills. You know what I mean? Those things are the outline. And then everything else is the fill-in. And I think some of it is free will and some of it's not. But it's because no one knows. It's fucking super interesting to think about. No one knows any of it.
It's wild.
I don't know. I really don't know.
Oh, completely changing topics. I did see a little story on TMZ that after Coachella, herpes numbers spiked.
Really?
Yeah. It's just a funny little fact that I seen.
That is
Or
funny.
I would hope it's I mean, it's on TMZ, so who really knows? But like,
Right.
it's just the headline was like, herpes spikes after Coachella weekend.
Well, that's unprotected Molly-based sex there.
Yeah, all over.
That's hilarious.
I don't want no part of Coachella ever.
I've never been to a music festival.
I think I'm gonna go to summer camp this year.
Really?
Mhm.
My friend who
The Squares
came
are
this
playing
week
at summer camp this
from
year.
Tennessee is a huge music festival guy. He's been a scamp actually. But
I've never been to a
I've
music
never
festival.
been to one.
I really don't want. I mean, because you understand my not hatred, but like when there's big groups of people, I'm just not a fan.
Yeah.
And that is a huge group of people that I don't really know I want to be around.
Yeah.
They're
Well-
all like drugs and like I don't know a single person playing except for the Squares.
Yeah.
And like they're playing Sunday, so I think I'm just gonna go
You gotta-
Sunday and sell clothes out of my backpack.
You got to kind of like, I think, without having even been there, sell clothes out of my backpack. People are better than selling drugs out of your backpack. Less money in it. Less money in it for sure, but
Friends
you
are gonna
don't
be selling
you don't
drugs
gotta
out
worry
of my
about
backpack.
you don't gotta worry about the cops as much. Being comfortable at an event like that, it's like you got to just totally like lose yourself in the moment because you got a bunch of
In
drugged
the
up fuckers
music,
around
the
you,
moment.
and you just gotta like let it go. And like that's what it is. You
I
can't
mean, the
think about
reality
it.
is there. No one really gives a fuck about what
Nobody,
you're doing.
dude. People are wearing the weirdest outfits and on drugs, and they're
Yeah,
dancing around
they
and
don't-
making out with
They
strangers
don't
and
give a
fucking
fuck,
strangers.
but it's how my mind works. It's like, I don't know. I'm always,
That's that
I'm-
non-free will stuff.
I'm looking and analyzing people and like, I don't know. It's
Yeah.
fucking weird.
I don't like this squeaky chair, man.
Oh, a bunch of new stuff. I made a bunch of race collection tees, long sleeve, short sleeve, split collection tees, short sleeve, long sleeves. There's still portal blueprints available. There's women's tanks available, men's tanks available. Shit is popping. GoodNoStore.com. Check it out. Bunch of new stuff.
All right, I'm back. GoodNoStore.com.
And if you want to peep all the podcasts, GoodNoteStore.com/podcast. All of them are on there. Every single one. 9 of them now. Wild.
Wild, wild, wild. You know what I want to do? I've been talking about it on here a little bit and talking forever. Is I'm gonna fucking start eating healthy, man. Because I talk about it. Another hypocritical thing. It's like I notice it myself though. The first step is recognizing the issue, right?
Realizing I have a problem.
That is
And
the
my
first
problem is Hershey bars.
Step. It's been better. Actually, get in my mouth. No, I need to start eating healthier for sure. I think it's like
Yeah.
people overcomplicate diets though, man. It's like if it. I was watching this
It
thing.
really doesn't have to be that complicated. You can literally eat what you want to an extent.
Mhm.
You just gotta pick what times. Like, don't eat after like 8 o'clock at night.
Well, you got to cut out sugar and preservatives as much as you can.
And of course, don't eat like candy bars all day. I'm not saying eat whatever you want, and I mean, like, eat normal food.
Basically, like if it grew in the ground, if it ran, swam, or flew, it's probably good for you. You know what I mean?
I just heard that somewhere. Where did I hear that?
I saw it and it was in that food documentary.
I didn't watch a food documentary.
That's what she said, though. She said the same thing the one I was watching. She's like, people just overcomplicate it. It's like, you know what's healthy. Like, we all know what's healthy. Was it alive? Was it a plant? Then it's probably not bad for you. Yeah. All right? If it's an edible plant, it's good for you. If it's natural meat, it's good for you. All right? If you eat it in small portions, you can't eat, like, I don't know, it's everything. But people do the all-meat diet. Some people are so into the carnivore diet, man. There's so many different thoughts on it. It's just like, you know what's healthy. Natural stuff is healthy, preservatives are not. But like, as far as that, if you feel good
after you eat, it's probably good for it. Like, I mean, I think you said that at the beginning, actually.
Yeah.
But if you feel like shit after you eat and you want to go to bed, it probably wasn't a good meal.
Right. And sugar puts you down. And people get addicted to sugar. They don't even realize, like,
oh, it's a
drug. They say on the addictive scale, so they actually rate stuff. Scientists rate addiction, like the addictive qualities of chemicals or compounds, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Sugar falls like processed white sugar, all right? So it's different. Like, table sugar is not a natural sugar. It's made in unnatural processes, so it's not like the kinds of sugar you find in fruit, because there is sugar in nature. There's sugar all over in nature, but it's not the processed, I think it's disaccharide salt is what we have on the table, and that's like different, okay? It's like not natural. But that is rated as more addictive than crack cocaine on the like the scale. It's fucking nuts.
That is fucking crazy.
I mean,
I was watching a YouTube video. It was this Canadian chick, and she was like talking. They were talking about cereal or something, but she said cereal in Canada has got nothing on cereal in America, but it's because of all the sugars and like fructose and all that garbage that we put into the cereals to make it taste like ridiculously sweet and good.
You should watch the movie called In Search of Balance. Did I ever tell you about that one? It's a documentary.
I don't think so.
And it's so interesting. So it touches on a bunch of different things. But yeah, it's like you see it in like you're saying with cereal and kids stuff. It's like we're pumping our kids full of sugar. Like, every kid's cereal is full of sugar. All kids' snacks are full of sugar. Kids' drinks are full of sugar.
You see this what is it with the marshmallows? Lucky Charms. They sell just the marshmallows.
Yeah, what is that? That is literally...
That is bull of sugar.
I was eating...
You might as well pour sugar and milk in a bowl.
Right, sugar and milk in a bowl. Exactly. I was eating, what are they? Starburst jelly beans. My mom bought me a bag. And
Fire.
They're delicious, right? Fire. But I was reading... So a serving is 1.4 grams. Or 1.4 ounces, right? And in that 1.4 ounces... So, what is that? It's 35 grams or something like that.
Like 6 jelly beans?
It's 28 grams of sugar. You get 1 full ounce of pure sugar in 1.4 ounces of jelly beans.
Oh my god!
What? That's like that's like a handful of jelly beans, and you get an ounce of sugar. That's fucking nuts.
No wonder they're so good.
So in the Search of Balance movie, they're talking though, and there's a scientist talking. There's this group of scientists now who believe that basically, so if you look at the turn of the 19th century or whatever, when we started getting antibiotics, which was the big one, and vaccines, they cut out all the things that used to kill people, you know. But then after that, it was like stuff like diabetes and heart disease and that kind of stuff that started killing people. And this group of scientists think that that's all one disease, and that we're going to look back in 30 years at sugar like we look back on cigarettes now. Like, I cannot believe that there's sugar and everything.
I can't believe we gave a podcast or two ago. But
yeah, we did touch on that. You can't believe you let. I didn't think we did. You're right. But I can't believe we let kids have that much sugar. It's like, I can't believe you're letting 15-year-olds smoke. I can't believe you're letting 12-year-olds smoke.
Speaking of smoking, do you see the smoking age is going up to 21?
Yeah, I did see that.
July or something.
Which I don't have a problem with.
Yeah, it don't bother me at all. It's smart.
Actually, though, to be honest, if I'm being honest, I think both the drinking age and tobacco age should be 18 if you can get drafted in the military at 18. I think that that's
a lot of people have that argument, but when you get drafted to the military and you're out there, like they'll let you drink if you're...
Yeah, but I'm saying, but if you can legally die for your country, you should be able to enjoy a beer at home.
Died drunk driving, yeah.
Well, fuck off. No, you should be able to enjoy a beer.
I just got such a bad stigma. I hate alcohol.
Yeah. I don't think alcohol is literally the worst thing for me. I notice myself too. Is it has such an effect on my mood and like sense of well-being. Not like the day after when you're hungover, but like 2 or 3 days after that, like, immediate, like, oh, I feel groggy and shitty from that drinking last night, just, like, my mental state, I'm more down. Like, it's like it's not good. It's just poison for your whole fucking body.
When you change it up, though, like, that used to happen to me when I drank almost every night. It was really depressing at some points, but, like,
it becomes a cycle then of drinking to get rid of that bad feeling too.
But now, how you know how I go out, it's like once a month, maybe once every 2 months, and, like, it's almost like a relief. Like, you don't have that feeling afterwards because you don't
do it very often, and you don't get that hammered because you get drunk quick. It's not like a guilt
thing to where, like, oh, I shouldn't be doing this all the time. It's like, no, I went out and had fun one night. Now it's back to work for a month or two, and then I'll go do it again.
And that's where it's healthy. It's in moderation. It's okay to get drunk every once in a while. You just can't be getting drunk all the time.
And I don't get drunk ever. I'll go out and have 3, 4, maybe 5 beers, and then I'm done. So it's like, I leave maybe tipsy because I don't drink that much. So 5 beers anymore gets me a little tipsy. Then I'm done.
It's one of the things I'm the worst at. Is like I've been doing better about drinking, like, less as far as, like, quantity of days. You know what I mean? Like, I don't drink as often as I used to, but I'm still really bad about when I go out or when I drink that I get drunk. You know what I mean? Like, I don't just, like, I can't. It's hard for me to go out and have, like, a beer or two sometimes, where I end up, it's like, I'll say, hey, I'm going to have 1 beer with my friends, and then next thing I know, it's 2 a.m. I close the bar down, and I'm pretty fucking drunk. And it's like, that's something I see in myself that I definitely need to get a better handle on, because it's I recognize it, but it's
I
not.
see it for a lot of people that once they start drinking, it's very difficult for them to stop drinking.
It's like you just want to keep going.
And I'm very blessed that I don't have that problem anymore. I mean, it used to be like that where it was like, once I have one, it's a night. It's a night. But, like, now. I mean, when I pop over to Iron Spike, just because I don't like IPAs, like, I'll drink Mountain Dew while we're there. Yeah. So then that gives me time to sober up.
They have non-IPAs though. They have a couple really good. They have a really good porter. I like.
I don't want to bash them on here, but I think their beer sucks. All of it.
It's your opinion. You're entitled to your opinion.
I've tried them all.
I work there. I don't make the beer.
I don't know how many they have now, but I've tried the 4 that they had. I don't know how. Is there still 4?
There's a lot. I don't know, 4. There's like 6 or 8 up on the list right now.
Whatever, like the
Midnight Express.
Is that the oatmeal stout or is that a different one? I've had the oatmeal.
I should have it memorized, but I don't.
I've had the what is it, the something rail?
Light rail.
Light rail. I've had that.
That's just like their basic beer. That one's supposed to be like a Budweiser, like a Bud Light or
I've had them all, and I'm just not a fan. I remember going there once, and I was like, "Can I get a Coors Light?" And
different strokes for different folks, my friend.
We only sell our beer. And I was like, "Well, then I'll take a Mountain Dew."
My grandpa got pissed one time. I saw him like 2 months ago, and he was telling me this big story. It was right after I started at Spike, and he was like, "You go down there and you tell your boss." He's like, "I'm never going in there again." He's like, 'cause he was down in Canton, Illinois, which is like an hour or two south here or something like that, right? Yeah. And he's like, I was riding a bike and I went to a bar there and they had cans of Iron Spike beer, and I got a can of beer cheaper there than I can get it for here. And I was like, he's like, well, how the hell's that work? And he's like, I was like, Grandpa, they must have it on sale or something. I don't know. Nobody was buying it. I don't know.
One thing I do like about that place, though, the upstairs is very nice. It's very casual.
I love the environment there. It's got a super nice vibe.
And it's like,
it's kind of loud though. It's one of my mom's main criticisms, is that like when you're in the downstairs, because it's an old fire station, so it's all brick, and it's not made to catch a lot of acoustics, so everything just vibrates off and becomes really loud.
It's a really cool bar.
Yeah, I really do like it. They have great food too. I can't lie, I did not know that because I never ate there before I started working there.
Do you bartend or you just food service?
So I started serving Thursday. I started training, and then I'm gonna start being the daytime upstairs bartender during the weekends, which is both good and bad because sometimes it's dead. But if I can bring people in,
I'll come in during the day and play some darts or something.
Hell yeah, bring people in. That's all I need. So yeah, I'm gonna start being the bartender up there.
I gotta beat you at darts because it's gonna happen soon.
Dude,
do you remember that game we played? Where it was like me and you just playing, and then there's like the tables around us is like people watching us play. By the end of the game, it was down to the last shot wins.
Yeah, I don't remember, but I won, right?
Yeah, you won.
That's all.
But it was down to the last shot wins.
Last shot wins. Bullseye contest.
I about fucked.
That's the most nerve-wracking.
I about took it.
I like darts. I used to be a lot better at darts. When I was a drinker, when I drank more, I would play fucking darts and pool like every night of the week.
Like my uncle's really, really good at darts. Like won a few tournaments and shit. But like I never really played it that much. And then just like last year, I started picking it up a lot. And now I'm like really decent at it.
My dad claims, but I don't know. I don't know if I trust my dad with claims as far as like throwing. You know what I mean? Like, jeez. But he claims to have 2 perfect cricket games in his life.
Or where you just hit Like
so you know cricket.
20, 20,
You go
and
triple 20, triple 19, triple 18.
oh, so he did
That's
that.
your first turn. Your second turn will be triple 17, triple 16, triple 15. You've now closed out all the numbers. Then your third turn, you go double bullseye, bullseye. It takes you 8 darts to win a game of cricket. If you're
Normally
perfect.
takes me about 37.
If you're perfect, it takes you 8 darts to win. 20, right? 20, 19,
I don't know.
18, 17, 16, 15.
Dude, that kid you were playing with
Double
when
bullseye,
me and
yeah.
Joe showed up the other night or 2 weeks ago, that kid was good. I don't know if he was just on at that point in time.
Garrett?
We
Garrett?
ended up playing pool
Gareth.
with him in teams, and then I had
Yeah,
to
he has the
dip.
nose ring.
I think so.
He's the one I want to have him on here. He's super into crystals and
yeah, we talked about
energy
him about
healing.
having him on. Yeah.
Yeah, he does this. Oh man, he talks about full body orgasms through. Man, apparently, I don't know. We're gonna have to bring him on here and talk about it. But I don't know. There's this thing you can do where you can reach a state of orgasm for a male, where it's not purely ejaculatory. So it's not like the orgasm ends the sexual experience for the male. So it's like females are like multi-orgasmic, right? So they can orgasm multiple times during one sexual experience. And well, if they're with a good sexual partner, then there's other girls who said they've never orgasmed. Right? I don't think the female orgasm actually exists.
I don't think it happens.
Neither does the clit.
G-spot, never heard of it.
But anyway, he was saying that through this like technique of qigong and learning your energy flow, and then there's this thing you can do where you like grip your thumbs in a certain way, and you pinch them down, and then you flex your body muscles, and it moves the pleasure sensation from the actual genital region to your body more, and then you can orgasm without ejaculating.
The fuck?
And that's what I said.
I gotta talk to this
That's
guy.
what I said. I said, teach me your fucking ways. But no, he hasn't, so he said he hasn't quite reached full body orgasm yet, but he's multi-orgasmic now as a male without coming.
That must be exhilarating.
He told me this thing. He's like, I accidentally came the other day.
Well, what?
He said he was having sex. He said he hadn't come during sex in like a week. He'd just been holding it to, like he'd been coming but not ejaculating. And he said that he accidentally let it go, and he said it was like, but I just can't imagine like having sex and intentionally not finishing.
Yeah, that's a sign that it's over and it's time for them to leave.
Mm-hmm. All right, what are you still doing here?
Should I call you an Uber? Oh wait, we don't have Uber here.
Call yourself one. That was the best 30 seconds of your life, wasn't it?
I go over and hit my stopwatch. New record.
New record. Oh, that's funny. I don't know. It's I don't know. I want to hear more about it. We're gonna have him on here to talk about it. But it's qigong based and energy based, and the idea of being able to come a bunch of times before you really come sounds interesting to me. Right?
That sounds pretty crazy.
Sounds like a lot less work on self control.
It sounds like a hobby I can get down on.
That's funny. But he's super into crystal healing too. So he has like these I can't remember what they are. They're like some kind of quartz, I think, but
Not a coffee.
he has like these huge they're like 3 feet tall, I think, and like a foot across gemstone things that you put in like the corners of your room. And he said his brother doesn't even believe in it. Like you set him up closer to you and then you sit in the middle of it in a chair. He said his brother doesn't believe in crystals, like got up and like left the circle and was like, that was weird. And it's like, he's like, I'm going upstairs. Like, because he said you feel the vibration from these things, and it's something about grounding you, and I don't know much about it.
Is it something where you gotta like meditate in
No,
between the crystals?
So feeling the crystals, I think, is more just like learning to feel vibrations and energy through your body. I don't know. There's lots of things. My mom's super into them too, and a lot of scientists say it's bullshit, and then other people say it's just because you can't study
That's
it. I
such
don't
an
know.
unorthodox thing, but I'm so open-minded to
Right?
everything.
I'm so open-minded,
that
and it's interesting.
I'm down to try it, of course.
I don't know how much it works, but if I could sit in the
know,
middle of 4 crystals and
what would
feel
be
my
a
body
cool-
reverberate, then I would
don't
probably
know.
believe it.
Would this be a cool idea? We have them on the podcast, but then we do something like that and record it, and I'll add it as like an extra on the YouTube.
Yeah.
As like an incentive to people to go
You know what you should do?
watch the YouTube.
Yeah, we could do that for sure. But you should go to my mom's shop. Is right in front of that CBD shop in Galesburg.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Readings, Reiki, and Gems. I want to have her on here to talk about Reiki sometimes, but she does Reiki healing, which, again, I haven't done enough research on, but my mom's Reiki certified. She's trying to become a Reiki practitioner. But it's basically like energy healing, to where the idea, I think, is that you don't even use your energy. So like the person doing the Reiki healing isn't transmitting their personal energy to the person. So basically like they stand over you and they try to focus energy on spots that you think need healing, or loosen tension. They do it all over your body, but they'll focus on spots you specifically need healing or feel tightness. And the idea is that they don't use their energy to focus, but they connect with the energy of the world, the one energy, if you kind of believe that kind of thing, you know what I mean? And then they're able to transmit as like a catalyst through them to you the energy of the world that creates that healing energy you need. And I will say this, I have no idea about it. It's one of those things like maybe, I don't know, maybe it's placebo effect. There's
That's
studies,
what I was about to say.
there's
Could
studies
it be
though
placebo effect?
there's studies that scientists have shown that they've healed people with Reiki healing. So it's something at least worth a look into, you know what I mean?
If
it's
you're
like,
going it with an
maybe
open
it is
mind,
the
though,
placebo
maybe
effect.
you could placebo effect
But
it in
I went over
reality.
there because I did a marketing presentation for him to help him understand a little bit how to, you know what I mean, new business stuff when they were first opening. And then afterwards, the main lady, Denise, my mom, and one of the other ladies did Reiki, like all three of them on me at once. And when I got up, I felt fucking stoned, dude. Like, I felt light as a feather, like I was floating, like I could definitely feel vibration. Like, it just felt light and buzzy in my head and body, and like, I don't know, whatever it was, like,
down to do it.
I have no explanation for it, but
That
I
could be
definitely
another
did
thing
not
that
feel
we do
normal.
a video. Man, we should start doing that when we have guests. Is like whatever the guest's specialty is, we like record doing that specialty with that guest, and then put it on YouTube with the podcast.
I want to go talk to, I was telling you about this too, the first legal hemp farm in Illinois. The only one that's licensed to do it is in Roseville.
Yeah, we gotta get that. That'd be huge.
And I want to talk to them about that, about the whole process. Apparently, it's supposed to be much more profitable per acre than even like corn or soybeans.
I want to have someone about CBD on too, just because I want to learn.
Well, that's my mom's
firsthand
friend, and then
about
right
the
behind
CBD.
that shop you went to. We could have them in for sure.
Yeah, I was gonna ask him when I was in there, but it was a lady, and I didn't know if she.
The hemp
I guess
farm.
I could have just said, "Do you own it?" But
The hemp farm will know some stuff about CBD too, but we'll go in and talk to him. I'll go in and talk to that lady, that CBD lady too, and see if she wants to come on.
yeah,
I'll talk to my mom's Reiki friend too, and those will both be interesting because I think that whole combination of, then you're touching on some different aspects of life, some interesting little things, you know, some things that it goes back to that we talked about science on here last week, didn't we? And how it kind of boxes you in, or it can be. I don't know. Maybe we'll talk about it a different time. We'll have to go back.
maybe
to
I don't remember.
That's the thing too, though. Is over so many episodes you can retouch on things because not everyone listens to every episode.
Yeah,
But most, probably no.
I mean, we're still averaging with YouTube and all the other things like 30, 40 listeners a week.
Yeah. We need to get more.
Just on like the platform, YouTube's where it pulls the most, to be honest, in one spot. But like
One of them sucked though. I saw on YouTube. It only had like 2 views.
it must have been early.
I don't remember.
And sometimes the views are
It's gonna take
weird.
time. I don't even worry about the views. Like I have fun doing it. So it's like if people think we have something to say, then it'll take
Yeah,
off.
I'm
And
okay
if
with
not,
doing it.
like I
And
still have
then
fun.
Fucking a year
I
from
don't
now,
think I have that
when
much to
we're
say. So
50 something episodes in, you never know. Maybe we pick up track. You know, I
it
don't
takes
know.
time. It's fun. You know, I like talking about
Yeah.
stuff.
It's fun.
But you know, I think something kind of touch on this. Like people try to make shit too fucking political, or they take stuff that's not tied to what is even being talked about. And it's like, why'd you have to bring that up right now? So it's like I saw the NFL draft's going on right now, and fucking Trump tweeted at Nick Bosa, and you obviously don't know who that is, but Nick Bosa's the son or the brother of Joey Bosa, and he played at Ohio State. He got drafted 2nd overall. He's a defensive end, hell of a player.
Who?
Who did he get drafted by? San Fran. But so San Fran drafted him, and President Trump tweets out like congratulations to Nick Bosa and the hell of a player, going to be a great player for years to come. The Bay Area is finally going to be great again. You're gonna, you know what I mean, all this stuff, and then ends it with "Make America Great Again." It's like, how does this have anything to do with your, you know what I mean? It's like
He's got to push his agenda.
he's got you all push your agenda and make things about you that aren't about you. It's like, fuck off. You see that we talked about that with you touching on with the Notre Dame thing. It's like I didn't have a big problem with people posting pictures of the Notre Dame thing. I think that's kind of nice as a tribute to it. But I hate when, not that I hate, but I think it's such an attention-seeking thing. Like when someone passes away, and you see these streams of people coming out, like you should honor that person. I'm all glad for honor, but quit acting like they were your best friend. You know what I mean? If you haven't seen them, and people want to act like they're the ones who are, you know what I mean? It's like it's not about you right now. It's like send your best to the family and care about them, but it's like they want to go on Facebook and get sympathy for somebody else that they haven't seen in years. It's like
and probably was talking shit about the day before.
Send your best to their family and don't make it about you. Like everything's, it's just annoying. I find that annoying, that attention seeking, you know?
Yeah, that shit drives me crazy. Just because I'm on the opposite, like, I don't want no sympathy from fucking anybody. That's why I don't post anything about the fucking actual hard shit.
What'd Jeff Bridges say? Like you said, the only place you're gonna find sympathy is somewhere in the dictionary between shit and syphilis.
Yeah. Right? What was that on?
It was on some movie I was watching. I don't even remember.
No, I remember.
It was on the podcast. I threw it on here one time, I think.
Oh yeah, that's what it was. I was about to say, I think me and you heard it together, but that's what it was. You said it.
That line just cracked me up. The only place you're gonna find sympathy is somewhere in the dictionary between shit and syphilis.
And I got both of them.
I shit my pants last week.
Did you actually?
I really did. It's so bad.
You are a grown adult.
Dude, it's the worst because, like, I know, alright, everyone has accidents, okay? But whatever the allotted amount of, like, you can shit your pants as an adult number is.
You've surpassed it.
I passed it already, dude, and I'm 24. Like, I've shit my pants more than I like to admit. Like, and it's sad. But I've never pissed my pants. Isn't that weird? Only out the back door have I lost control. But it's weird. I got home from the bar, and oh my god, it's so embarrassing. It's funny. I got home from the bar, and I was eating. I was fine. It was like 2 in the morning. I went downstairs, I was watching an episode of TV, and I was like, oh man, I kind of gotta poop. And so I got up, and I was walking to the bathroom, and I just went to fart. Full turd, dude. Right in my underwear. Oh, man. And so I had to throw away one of my favorite pairs of boxers and go take a shower.
The last time I did, I was probably like, I don't know, 12 or 13, because we were in the basement of my house in Monmouth, and I remember saying like, oh, I gotta shit real bad. So then my buddy, he starts blocking the stairs to get upstairs, so I can't get to the bathroom, and then just starts jabbing me in the stomach.
What an asshole.
Yeah. And I'm like, no. And I think, yeah, I shit my pants.
My grandpa used to live with us, or I guess we lived with my grandpa when I was younger. We moved up here, and it was supposed to be temporary. We moved in with my grandpa, and then we were going to wait till they got their own place. My parents were, I was like 3, but they ended up just buying the house for my grandpa, and he lived with us. But I remember I had to be like 16 or 15, and I got home from school, and my grandpa had locked himself out of the house somehow, or he had gone, and my mom had locked the door with him not having his key when she went to work in the morning. So I got home from school, and he was sitting outside on the deck, fucking pissed. He's just sitting on the lawn chair, just pissed, and I come up with my grandpa, and he just starts fucking cussing. He's like, go climb through the fucking window. I was like, what's wrong? He's like, I got locked out of that goddamn house. I came home, I had to shit. I shit my pants. he was just been sitting outside for like an hour.
God.
He'd just been sitting outside for like an hour in his shit waiting to get back inside because he was locked out of the house.
Your house, though, there's so many, like, bushes and shit. I would have found a spot.
That's what I said,
shit.
but he said he was like one of those ones where it was like an emergency when he got here. And he was 70 at the time. You know what I mean? So it's like he wasn't climbing
into the bush. It'd be hard to squat somewhere.
But he said he just like 70. Went for the front door, and then
that was it.
And he just been sitting there for an hour fuming in his own poop.
That was one of those steamers that you had to get to the bathroom quick, and as soon as you drop your pants, it's fucking going.
It's hitting the water before your ass hits the seat.
Yeah. Those are terrifying.
It's the simultaneous hit. There's a lot of poop talk at the end.
Yeah. So welcome to our podcast where we talk about shit.
What else happened? So last night was... Jesus. Oops. Earthquake. I like it in school for like a tornado or an earthquake. Your drill's just like, get under your little desk. Like, you're good. Or, you remember that shit? Or you go out in the hallway and hold a book above your head?
Oh shit, I forgot about that.
What is this gonna do, Teach?
When this fucking giant brick building comes down, hopefully my head's covered by
my
this fucking...
science book will keep me safe.
Hopefully green eggs and ham helps me out. Did you ever have in like... I don't even remember, it would have been like pre-K or kindergarten or something, but we'd go and do fake grocery shopping.
Oh,
we had a fake
learn to
grocery store in the classroom.
Yeah, we didn't do that. We weren't that
And we would
sophisticated.
like take little mini carts and go get shit.
Do you remember doing that day though, where we got fake jobs?
Yeah, not Earth Day.
No, was that
Career Day?
Career Day, but it was like we went to that place and they had the
what
fake
was that
buildings.
place called? I remember you got ticketed if you walked on the grass.
Yeah, or into the fountain because the fountain was just like a different colored rug,
and then
you couldn't
you'd
get
have
in
to go to jail and pay your fine.
And you had to pay your lawyer based on your wages. And
I worked at the bank.
Yeah, what is that? I think I was a lawyer. No, I was working on the radio. I think
I was at the bank.
I don't remember what I did.
Bank teller.
They
had me pegged as a bank teller.
I remember I got in trouble for getting in the fountain though.
I did. I got a ticket for grass or fountain.
Mm-hmm.
I just walked right out and went straight over.
It's a rug. What are you talking about?
Fucking carpet. Suck my dick.
Who are you? We're both in 3rd grade. You can go fuck yourself. You're not giving me a ticket.
It was like 3rd or 4th grade, and I was definitely still a real asshole about it.
Yeah, still a real asshole, aren't you?
Yeah. Some things never change.
Better than being a fake asshole, at least. You're being true to yourself.
I try to be as real as they come.
No, but anyway, back to listening to your body was what I was trying to get into. Last night, dude, I got home from work, and it's been a crazy week, like I said, so I've gotten like no sleep for like 5-6 days in a row. Not no sleep, but like, you know what I mean, minimal sleep for sure.
Rockstar life.
Running on E. And so I got home last night from work, and we were going to come over here and do the podcast last night maybe, even though I didn't really feel like it. And then I had a couple of friends who wanted to meet up. But I got home, and it was like 7 by the time I got home, so I was like, fuck it, I'm going to lay down and just take a quick power nap, 30 minutes. Woke up at 8:30, basically, to my mom shaking me, slept through the 30-minute alarm. She's like, you okay? I was like, yeah, like, I'm fine. Like, what? She's like, why are you never sleep like this? Like, what are you doing in the middle of the day? You're always up. And I was like, I don't know, I'm tired. And she actually scared the shit out of me. I got, like, upset at first. I was like, because she's always telling me I need to rest more, you know? And so I was in the middle of a dream. She woke me up. She's like, you okay? You rest? Why are you resting? And I was like, what, did you want me to rest? You always told me to rest more. Like, what? Damned if I do, damned if I don't. But, so I woke up and I was like, shit, it's like 8:30. I'd go meet people. They'd been texting me. And then I was like, nah. Like, I went over, put my phone on the charger. And I was like, fuck it, let's just go back to bed. So I slept from 7:30, it's like 7-ish last night, to like 6:30 this morning. I feel so refreshed, like my body needed it. And I could tell. It's like what I was telling you, because you're always running on E, the same as me. Mm-hmm. It's like sometimes you just got to listen to your body, and like it'll tell you what you need. It does it with food too, like weird stuff. You ever have those like random cravings? It's like, man, I want a tomato or something. You know what I mean? Or it's like, I want a salad, and you never eat it, and you're like, why do I want that? And it's just because your body like knows you need it. So I was at it's weird. I was at the grocery store like a month ago probably now. But my mom just had me. She only wanted me to pick up like 3 things. You know what I mean? So I went to a little grocery store in a tiny
47.
No, I grabbed the 3 things and I was walking down the aisle to get to the register, and on the side I see sardines, a can of sardines. Ugh. Like, when's the last time you had a can of sardines?
Never. Gross.
I've had like 1 ever, and I looked at them and I was like, I need them. Like the second I saw them, I was like, I want those. Like I just like I was so craving sardines in that moment. And like I said, I've had them once, maybe. Don't even gross canned fish. And
disgusting.
I just got home and just chowed down. I ate pretty much the whole thing of sardines. And my mom had one. She's like, man, those are good. I've had one forever. And she's like, why did you buy those? I was like, I don't know. I just saw them, and it's like, I felt like I needed them. She's like, I bet it was your body you needed some omega-3 or something. You know what I mean? Like, your body will tell you when you need stuff if you listen. But you have to get in tune with it. You have to get in tune with it.
I've done that with bananas. So, like, potassium.
Yeah, I don't need to hear what you do in your bedroom.
Here we go with the gay jokes again.
No, my biggest one that I feel is the one I'm most in tune with is water. Like when I start getting dehydrated, I can really tell. I get a little groggy, and my muscles just don't feel as good. They feel a little tighter. I don't know, I just don't feel as well when I start getting a little dehydrated, for sure.
Yeah, drinking water is really, really important. Really crucial.
Well said. Well,
I feel like that's a good statement. Drink water.
I'm just fucking with you. Drink more water.
Fuck off.
Or you might die.
At that point, I hate this guy. I'm ending the podcast.
Thanks for tuning in, though. Another challenge this week. So, again, give us some feedback. We want to hear about you guys' challenges, any interesting conversations you might have had with a stranger, something you did this week, any cool stories you guys have, something inspirational. Give us your feedback either on Instagram or Twitter. Comment on our video on YouTube or wherever you want. We'd love to hear from you.
At GoodNoCo on all social medias.
And as Tulsa said, he just got a bunch of new stuff made and put up on the website. A bunch of stuff left. So go check that out on goodnotestore.com. Goodnotestore.com. Check that out. But thanks again for listening. Check us out on
Google Play, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Spotify, Stitcher, YouTube, and goodnotestore.com/podcast.
All right. Thanks for listening, guys. Challenge this week is do something that scares you.
Oof.
Not a big thing. It doesn't have to be a big thing. You don't have to go skydiving.
I'm going to try meth this week.
Try meth.
Just kidding. Don't do drugs.
No, but I just do something little that scares you. Whether it's, again, start a conversation with a stranger if you couldn't do that last week. Whether it's go to the gym if you feel fearful about going to the gym. I don't know, whatever it could be. Just something that scares you a little bit. Anything.
Wrestle a grizzly bear.
Actually, though, when I think about that, what am I going to do that scares me this week? I don't like that challenge because I have nothing.
Nothing scares me. I'm the manliest man there is.
No, I don't know what I'm going to do in the next week. I'm too manly.
You could sit and watch an entire wrestling pay-per-view.
That doesn't scare me. It just sounds miserable.
No, doesn't that sound terrifying? Stoner bashing time. I might do a giveaway soon. So
let's
check
do a
out
giveaway
the Instagram.
this week.
Good Note Co. on Instagram. I think I'm gonna do a giveaway.
Let's do first person to comment on our YouTube page. First person. Anyone wants to get on and tell us this week about a cool story, a cool conversation they had with a stranger? We'll send you a T-shirt. How does that sound?
I mean, actually, that's a good idea.
All right, so
the first person to
let's read
email goodnote@outlook.com or comment on one of our podcasts on YouTube, which is Good Note, or hit me up on either Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook, all at Good Note Co.
With a story of something that it's from a stranger, one of the challenges from talking to a stranger, something interesting. Give us an interesting thing that you learned from a stranger last week. Send us that email, and we will get you your free T-shirt.
Yeah, I'll send you a free shirt.
We'd love to hear some stories, and if it's good, we'll bring it up next week on the podcast if you want to share it with other people as well.
Hell yeah!
So thanks for joining us again. Do that challenge. We'll catch you next week for week 10. Like we said, our first guest will be next week, so that's exciting.
We're hitting double digits next week.
Hitting double digits. We made it 10 weeks.
10
and
weeks
so check us out next week for our first guest. We've got some exciting stuff coming for you. Thanks again. Peace out.
Communicate.